Hello, good people of the world. We want to welcome you to World Eagle Network, where we bring you timely news. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please hit the bell notification so you can always get our further updates. And like, subscribe, and share so that you can as well encourage us to bring you further news. This morning we'll be talking about the meetings held by Asuu and the federal government. Recall that Asuu gave the federal government their own demands to call off strike. And it seems the federal government is not ready to come to a compromise with Asuu so far. Yesterday, on Wednesday, October, the federal government and Asuu, through the Minister of Labour, Dr. Chris Ngige, had a closed-door meeting where they discussed on their demands and, of course, the level of compromise they are willing to reach in order to call off the strike, which has lasted longer than necessary. Recall that the higher institutions are yet to resume academic session due to the strike that has lasted longer than necessary. And it seems that the strike, many of the Nigerians are worried about it, including the university students. And if the federal government is very sensitive, they will understand that most of the protesters and most of the hoodlums, according to them, that hijacked the protest were undergraduates from different universities who would have been engaged academically, who would have been busy with their studies and not having time to go into protest. Asuu continues their meeting between the body and the federal government again, which ended in deadlock. Both parties could not strike an agreement on the adoption of UTAS for payment of 30 billion naira and allowances for lecturers. The earlier federal government berated Asuu for making unreasonable demands after nobody insisted on replacing IPPIS with UTAS. You know, the federal government is still not willing to come to any compromise with the Asuu body, and this is actually causing a lot of stir in the government, and no one is ready to take that from anyone else. And the Asuu body is not ready to take what the federal government is imposing on them. Neither is federal government trying to come to a compromise with what Asuu is telling them. Let me know what you think. If you are a lecturer in the university, in the polytechnics in Nigeria, please do well to reach out to me to know exactly what you think. Send me your video, make a video and send me so that I will know your stand about the case, so that I will bring it to a publication, so that people will know what you are saying and how you are feeling and the plight of the lecturers, both in the polytechnic, qualification, of course, in the universities. Moving on to other news, we'll be talking about the oath of secrecy on the Lekki shooting panel, you know, being administered by the state government, the Lagos state government. And many people are coming up with a lot of evidences which the state government is trying to deny. The Lagos state government is trying to deny the true facts that the soldiers were deployed by the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Sanwo-Olu, because His Excellency further denied that he never had anything to do with the soldiers, saying that it's only the president of a country that has that power to deploy soldiers. According to the soldiers the soldiers who came, of course, the military spokesperson in Lagos, they said the governor commanded them to go out to quench the riot, to quench the protest, but the governor never asked them to shoot. And I have a question that I think anyone who is intelligent would want to ask such question. How can you deploy soldiers and ask them not to shoot, and yet you give them guns? How can you deploy soldiers and ask them not to shoot when there's a protest? And if you also have to review the Constitution, what is the constitutional right of any citizen who wants to protest for a good cause? And when there's a peaceful protest, why would you deploy the soldiers? On this note, the governor of Lagos State constituted a team of perhaps some group of individuals that he appointed himself to investigate the outcome of the Lekki Tollgate shooting. From the very start, the team that he appointed, I think a lot of Nigerians have problems with it, just as I have problems with it, because I think if you really want to have a fair hearing, I don't think you have to appoint people yourself. If you think you want to be very honest, how can you appoint people who are trying to probe you? How can you ask people who are trying to probe you or who are trying to investigate you? How can you go and select few individuals and tell them to investigate you? Probably the people you are selecting, they are your loyalists and they will dance to your tune. To complicate this further, the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Samuel, went on to administer them on an oath. According to Vanguard News this morning, by Henry Ojelu, some legal practitioners have described the oath of secrecy administered on the members of the panel investigating the Lekki Tollgate shooting as betrayal of trust by the Lagos State government and the panel members. Some members of the panels were reported to have been compelled to sign an oath of secrecy for personal issues and signed by the Lagos State governor. The Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is the Lagos State governor, asked those whom he appointed to swear an oath of secrecy, not to in any way relate whatever that may be their findings to the public, except to him. How do you think accountability can be done? How do you think people can still believe in you, sir? How do you think that people can still trust in what you are saying and believe that you have something good for the nation? Let me know what you think, my fellow Nigerians. Do you think that the governor is doing what is right? Do you think that the governor has all the legal and the constitutional right to appoint people? How can you get people who will alter what is trying you? In other words, how can you amend the constitution trying you? Assuming those people who are constitutions trying your code, assuming those people are the people investigating you, how can you have such level of influence over them by administering them to oath of secrecy? And only God knows the content of the oath of secrecy. You administer them. And I want to thank the legal practitioners in Lagos and all over Nigeria. I want to thank all the human rights practitioners. Please, wherever you are, I want to urge you to come up to challenge this unfair trial and challenge this unfair panel set up by the governor of Lagos State. Let us sit up as the youth and challenge this. I think this is strong. I think we have to stand to what we believe in and tell him that we cannot accept whatever coming from those people he administered to oath, because we cannot trust him to draw a fair hearing between the victims and, of course, himself that is actually being investigated for such crime. Meanwhile, the governor of Lagos State has equally announced compensations for all the police families who lost their loved ones, especially all the policemen and women who lost their lives during protests, and all the families who were victimized by the NSAS protest. According to the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Sanwo-Olu, he said that he is ready to compensate every family that lost a dear one through this NSAS protest, starting from the police. Not to quote him, but to sound alike. He said in his words that he is ready to give scholarships to every child of a policeman who lost the father through the NSAS protest, and to compensate the family adequately. But I will have a question to ask you. How can you compensate those families that were killed by the soldiers at the toll gate, when the soldiers killed those people and took them and put them in the truck and took them to a hidden place and buried them somewhere that we cannot account for their dead bodies? And the families are yet to identify their loved ones, and the families are yet to know that their loved ones died at the toll gate, because most revelations are coming from time to time, and the world is watching you, His Excellency Sanwo-Olu. The world is trying to know what you are doing, and the world is trying to know how justice is being played in Nigeria. We want to ask you to please have the respect and the love of God in your heart for those corpses that were cutted away by the soldiers. And please respect the evidences and don't try to bring people to find more cameras at the toll gate that will be played to the people to believe whatever you want them to believe. Please accept all the evidences coming to you, and if you really want to draw a fair hearing, do it in the most fair ground, and please compensate the families adequately. And we pray that peace will reign in Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. God bless the good people of Lagos. God bless every family that is mourning. We pray that every family that is mourning, we find solace in God. And we try to tell all the youth who are still protesting, we are encouraging them, and we are telling them from the studio of One Eagle Networks, we are telling them, please don't relent, please don't despair and don't dismay. The Lord is with you, and of course victory comes to you at the end. And we pray that the victory comes for the good cause. God bless you, Lagosians. God bless you, citizens of Nigeria. God bless you, Africa. Until we meet again, I remain your host, Prince Bieluti Chooks. I say shalom to you and life to you.